It just hurts, man. It just hurts. I mean, it hurt me. It hurt me. I can only imagine how it hurt the diehards, man, that invested time, money, thought that this was our year. And at the end of the day, the only thing we got for the show is still one championship to this city by the Atlanta Braves. Yeah. I mentioned that yesterday on Bomani's show, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I mentioned that yesterday on the Bomani show. Like, it almost seems like, and I wouldn't question God, and I said this on our show yesterday too, I think, man. But you gotta wonder, man, is God a Boston sports fan and not an Atlanta sports fan? I mean, damn. With the Super Bowl victory the other night, the Patriots now have 37 championships for that city. 37 championships. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then the Falcons in Atlanta has won. The 95 Braves, that's it. Won. And to be so close, 28-3. A 25-point come-from-behind winner. The number one rated, and I'm not going to stay on this all day, I promise you. But I mean, I need to kind of, elaborate on the title a little bit. Y'all know what it is, but I mean, I just need to talk about this just for a second, and we're going to move on. I'm not going to stay on this all day long. I promise you. 25 points in one half. The number one scoring offense in the NFL in an entire half doesn't score a point. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable what happened the other night. But when you sit back and you think of it, man, in its totality is Boston has 37 sports franchise pro team championships. 37 1. 37 1. 37 1. One. I laugh so I don't cry, Shawty. That's just not fair. It's just not fair. It's just not fair, man. It's just not fair. And I don't even know what more to say about it, man. There's a couple other little side stories surrounding the Super Bowl that we'll get into today. In particular, Shanahan gone. We'll talk about that. Now, what will the Atlanta Falcons do about their offensive coordinator position that they have available? We've got the numbers for the Super Bowl. How many people tuned in to watch the big game? We'll get into that. A little bit more football talk as well. Antonio Brown, wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. There's a cat in Pittsburgh calling for his head. Not literally, but figuratively. We'll talk about that. We'll mix in a little basketball, man. I mean, the football season is over. A lot of y'all hate it. A lot of y'all want to talk football year round, and we will talk football continuously. I mean, day in and day out. But now it's time to talk a little bit about the association. Yeah. So, I mean, this is not a surprise to anybody, but the New York Knicks absolutely suck. And apparently, they quit on their team last night. Yeah. I'm the resident Knick hater if you're new to the Doug Stewart Show on Spreaker.com. We'll also talk about Jahlil Okafur. He may be on the move. I got some opinions about that. You remember, I really wanted that cat when he came out. I wanted the Lakers to draft him as opposed to D'Angelo Russell. We'll talk about that. What else we got? What the hell is going on in Waco, Texas? We'll get into that as well, man. We're looking at this little story here, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show on a Tribute Tuesday. Hour number 2, we also do entertainment, and then we have the third hour, which we call the Power Hour on the Doug Stewart Show. We basically just focus on the listeners, their chat messages and whatever, man. That's what we do here on the Doug Stewart Show. But I'm looking at this little article by a cat named Jonathan Jones. Jonathan Jones, Sports Illustrated, the title of this article, or this column or whatever it is, says, "For Atlanta fans, the pain of losing Super Bowl LI is all too familiar." He goes on to mention the fact that they lost in the first Super Bowl appearance, the embarrassment of Eugene Robinson trolling for holes the night before the game. Wow. The Hawks have never reached the NBA Finals. The Thrashers were here. The hockey team was here for a little bit over 10 years, I think, or right at 10 years. And now they're the Winnipeg Jets. They left the city. LeBron's Cavaliers overcame the 3-1 deficit to win in 7 games. Villanova topped North Carolina on a buzzer beater. These are some of the big things that happened in the world of sports last year. The Cubs won in 7 games. Clemson beat Alabama. And now a lot of people saying one of the greatest Super Bowls of all times. So all those positive, big things, all of those things that kind of buck the trend as far as history, the Cavs winning, the Cubs winning, and the Falcons had the opportunity to do that. I mean, not only did they have the opportunity to do that, I mean, they should have done it. This isn't the conversation before the game. This is the conversation after the game. We know that they were up 28-3. We know that they had a 25-point lead, and they didn't finish the race, man. They didn't run through the tape. It's just tough, man. It's just tough. One chance in the chat room on Spreaker.com. Sidney Jackson, right. Can't even blame those churches for taking the money, especially considering how cash-strapped they were. All right, I mentioned yesterday, and if you're new to the Doug Stewart Show, if you're new to the show, first of all, we're based here in Metro Atlanta. I mean, you probably, understood that or realized that. But we're based here in Metro Atlanta. And I mentioned yesterday how, people started bringing up curses, and I think somebody said something about maybe the Falcons, the Georgia Dome, and now the new stadium is built on an Indian burial ground or something like that. And so nothing's good going to happen to us in Atlanta sports. Well, it's not that, but, I mean, it was a huge controversy in an effort to, get the land to build the new stadium, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The Falcons had to run a couple of churches out of their business. Their building, and took their land. And it was a big to-do here, man, and the churches didn't want to do it, and ultimately they did. They gave them a lot of money, and they up and had to leave. But initially they didn't want to do it. They didn't care about, Arthur Blank and all his money, and he's a billionaire, this, that, and the other. They didn't care. These are historical establishments here in the city. A lot tied into the civil rights movement. They didn't want to move. And then the city came in. And they claimed eminent domain and something like that, man. Something happened. I should have looked this up after the show yesterday. I didn't care so much about it again, but I didn't. But, yeah, then the city got involved and, in effect, twisted their arms. You're going to go ahead and get this land up to this billionaire owner, Arthur Blank. So now there's been a lot of discussion about that over the last 2 days. Like, are the Falcons the organization never going to win the Super Bowl because of, that bad aura of how that whole thing went down? I don't know, man. It just makes you think, and I said this once again yesterday on Bomani's show. He seemed to think it was funny. It's funny because Bomani's from the ATL. But he seemed to think it was funny, man. Like it seems like somebody high up, almost like when I say high up, I mean high as you can go, like God. Like God's got something against the Atlanta Falcons, man. He's got something against the Atlanta sports teams, and he's got like pom-poms. He's got a starter jacket. He got one of them little Scully hats with the big little, poof ball on the top of it. And he's got the pennant. He's got T-shirts. He's got special made sneakers for Boston sports. It just hurts, man. But you know what, man? I'm laughing, man, because, and I caught myself laughing just now, because it just dawned on me on how disappointed these people are in the city. And they have all right to be. Like, it's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. How can you give up a 25-point lead? How can you not score a field goal in an entire half with everything that you had on the line? How could that happen? Oh, boy. Oh, only in Atlanta. And here's the thing about it, man. We got so much of everything else. I mean, I always say this is the land of milk and honey. I did a video like a week ago, and I mentioned that, to the curmudgeon, obnoxious, arrogant Boston sports fans, and I mentioned that. So we got everything else. So maybe because we have so much other stuff that, God was like, listen, y'all got everything else. Y'all got everything else. I'm not going to give y'all dynamic winning sports franchises either. I can't give y'all everything. I mean, hell, y'all got Magic City. Y'all got Magic City. Y'all got this. Y'all got that. Y'all got, just opulence. We've got everything around here, all right? This is Black Hollywood. Y'all got a thriving movie business, movie industry, TV industry. I mean, people making moves around there. It's Atlanta. It's ATL, ho. I can't give y'all everything. I can't let y'all win in all of the sports, franchises as well. Maybe that's it, man. And who am I? And I'm not questioning them. I'm just theoretically speaking. And maybe that's what God said. Y'all got too much already. Maybe that's what it is. I just figured it out. Took me a couple of days, but I just figured it out. We got too much. Yeah. Right. We can't have everything that ATL has to offer. Great weather. Greenbrier Mall. Once again, Magic City. The AU Center. History. I mean, we just got everything, man. We got everything. The most beautiful black women in the world. I mean, we do. You can't give us the most beautiful black women in the world and let us win championships. Look at the bright side. That's it. Look at the bright side. We may not have championships, man, but we got everything else. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, when we get back from the break, man, Falcons going to lose one of the main pieces on why they advanced and got to where they did this year, which all in all was a great year, man. We'll talk about the offensive coordinator leaving, man. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show.
We about to set it off up in here. Yeah. Ain't no more game playing.